I was pacing around the green, just restless, trying to hit this putt. It was just one of those moments that you couldn't replicate. It was something you just dream of. And as soon as I hit that putt and made it, all my emotions let out because I had so many events in the recent year that I fell just short in. I had 5 runner-ups going into that event, and it was just built off of all those moments. And it was just pure bliss in that moment. Pick the ball out of the hole, hug the coach, and hug everyone from my team afterward. I mean, it felt like a movie.
Carson Baez is a college golfer at University of Richmond. He was named Newcomer of the Year, made the A10 All-Conference team, recently became the Loyola Intercollegiate Champion, and much more. Carson, I want to start with this long drive competition where you beat Adam Scott. What was that experience like?
Dude, that's an awesome one. I mean, so many times that's an event that's constantly brought up. That's something that happened a couple years ago, but the entire experience itself was incredible. I mean, to have someone just like Adam Scott be a part of a junior event like that is something that we as junior golfers love the most, to have our role models show up and to have an experience that's right in front of everyone and right in front of Adam Scott, and getting to show off your skills as a junior golfer was something that I couldn't imagine. He's such a down-to-earth guy, and doing it in front of everybody was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever had to do. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities that I've had to hit like really good golf shots down the stretch and feeling the nerves and pressure, but something like that was something I didn't expect. I mean, I just stood over the first drive in front of probably 80 people and 20 cameras thinking, don't chunk this drive. I've teed up as high as possible, and yeah, that was a really cool experience. I think that actually set up a really cool relationship because I got to meet his agent. I got to meet a few people on his social media side. We ended up meeting again at the Arnold Palmer Invitational a year later and had a cool inside the ropes experience.
And speaking of experiences, you just got back from a tournament where your team captured its second straight win, third victory of the season. Why do you think you guys have been able to have this success?
As young as we are, and we lost a couple seniors last year, and we're worried about how much depth we could provide. We just brought a lot of tenacity with this team and a lot of mental fortitude and probably some great course management as well. And we knew without a player like Cole from last year, who was our best player ever, and another anchor, Patrick, that it was going to be an interesting year. And we knew that as long as we just kept getting better each and every day, that we can go out and be just as good, if not a better team than last year. And sure enough, we had a solid fall, but a little bit rough around the edges at the end. And then we started off the spring just real hot. I've been playing the best golf of my career so far, and a couple of the other guys on the team have been playing and stepping up really nicely as well. And I just think we have a really good team chemistry within this program. I mean, a lot of the teams do have that, but I think we really have a brotherhood here at Richmond, and that's definitely a big part of our success.
And speaking of that mental fortitude, you had a clutch putt on the 18th hole to force a playoff. What was going through your mind during that time?
Yeah, that was a crazy stretch of golf. I mean, the last couple holes out there at Mid Pines with as windy as it was the entire day, it was just trying to bring it in. I birdied the 15th hole par 5 for the first time all week, which was a good confidence booster. I had an eagle putt, which would have given me the lead, but still just par 4s to finish. Had a little hiccup on 16, but made work of it. And then on 17, just trying to do my thing and got away from me and made a really, really tough bogey off of a root, and, I had to suck one up there. But then I get on to 18T, just sticking to my game plan. Instead, par is not going to do it. Birdie's got to do it. And just being so comfortable in that situation after having a lot of experiences in the last few months of being in a situation like that really helped me to really embrace the moment and just see what I needed to do. And I hit a great tee shot, hit a great pitching wedge to 11 feet, and I saw this putt that was just outside left edge, left to right putt. And I just fell in love with it as soon as I stepped up on the green, and I just couldn't wait to hit it. It was pure excitement. And as soon as I hit it, I knew I made it. And being in front of a bunch of different teams behind the green on like a stadium environment. It was the moments I think us golfers live for, just the type of thing that's like what you practice for each and every day, thinking I have a putt to win it on the last. And I think I love those moments now more than anything. It's something that we as golfers live for.
And another moment that was probably electric, you can tell me more, is you broke the school record shooting 17 under, becoming the Loyola Intercollegiate Champion. What were you most proud of from that win?
That is arguably the best moment in my career so far. I think the first thing to say is that 17 under was not exactly on my bingo card for the week. I knew that 16 under won the year prior, but I figured that something around that mark or just a little less might have done it throughout the week again because it was similar conditions. We played that tournament last year. It was just a really good build off of the week before in Florida after getting runner up, and I just knew that if I stuck to my guns, I could go out and play pretty good golf. And it was actually an interesting surprise to me because going out and having to shoot 17 under, you'd think, oh, you got to fire at every flag possible and try to do a lot of stuff. And I actually did the quite opposite. And I just let the putter get hot and made a bunch of birdies on that part. I think the most underrated aspect was the fact that I made one bogey in 54 holes because, a lot of people think, oh, it's birdies, birdies. But nowadays, with all the golf, course management, it's all about bogey avoidance. And that was definitely the big part to the success. But looking back at the winning moment coming down the stretch, it wasn't over until it was over, even though I had a good cushion of 4 strokes going into the last hole. But I just did all I could because we also had to bring it in for a team win, which I also found out on the 18th green that we had a 3-shot cushion, I think. And yeah, I just nestled a chip up there to 3 feet. And I mean, I was pacing around the green, just restless trying to hit this putt. It was just one of those moments that you couldn't replicate. It was something you just dream of. And as soon as I hit that putt and made it, all my emotions let out because I had so many events in the recent year that I fell just short in. I had 5 runner-ups going into that event, whether it was a playoff or whatnot, and it was just built off of all those moments, and it was just pure bliss in that moment. Pick the ball out of the hole, hug the coach, and hug everyone from my team afterward. I mean, it felt like a movie.
That's got to be something that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. You've had plenty of success. What's been one of the most challenging moments for you on the golf course?
I think the biggest thing that separates us is going to be our mentality because all of us can hit the ball so well and putt it and all those good things, but you have to be so strong mentally to make it to the next level. And I think I could learn a lot from my fall because even though I, on paper, seem to have played pretty solid, I played a little worse than my freshman year in the fall, and I was having a lot of moments where I was just getting really mad at myself trying to replicate the golf I played over the summer where I was doing so well and trying to chase results and doing too much. And after the season ended, I had a bunch of things to reevaluate my game. I was starting to talk to the right people again. I had a little bit of a hiccup in a winter tournament, but after that, it was just smooth sailing. I just learned to have a lot of fun and little expectations when my game wasn't exactly in the best position. And just know that at the end of the day, golf is golf, and we're excited to be out there and just have a privilege to play the game that we love. So in the last few events, it's really gone from living or dying by every single shot in the fall, and now just honestly enjoying some of the bad shots, if that makes sense. Really just embracing every shot for as it is and just, going out and having a ton of fun. And that's probably the biggest thing I could say to anybody as a golfer, junior golfer, aspiring professional is I think a lot of people overlook that you need to just have so much more fun. It's so easy to get caught up in the results and trying to be the best golfer possible. But I think that was what held me back throughout the last few years. And now I'm really coming into a mold where I'm just having a lot of fun and a lot of success comes with that. I think Scotty Scheffler says it best when golf doesn't define him and he just loves to do this as his day job.
Yeah, and so many athletes get stuck in the future. You talk about results or stuck in the past, what you did previously. How does Carson make sure he's present.
You just have to accept the fact that bad shots are going to happen, and so are good shots. I kind of believe in the idea of like yin and yang, that there's good and bad and good, and they, need to happen together to work in harmony. And I've learned that something like that, is just going to make golf a little bit simpler. That if you can just understand that those things happen and you just take it one shot at a time and don't deviate from plans, then you're going to be a super successful golfer, because it's so easy to get caught up in the idea of trying to make up your bogey that you just made with a birdie on the next hole. And then all of a sudden, you're firing at a stupid flag and you're making another bogey. But if you think about it, if you have a few bogeys in the course of an entire round, whether it's the first or the last hole, it doesn't matter what the scorecard says. They just happen, right? So I just think of it as an entire journey, whether it's, yeah, a bogey on the last hole of a tournament or not. It's just another bogey of the journey. Same with the birdies. Like, they're going to come and go. So no need to make it a big deal, right?
That was excellent advice. Going a little bit into some more detail, what are some habits that you have on the golf course?
First thing that comes to mind is my routine. I'm very, very religious to my routine. Like, I think the biggest thing that you need to control is your routine, because you can only control so much when you hit a golf shot. Whether it's a good shot or a bad shot, you got to do what you can to be best prepared for what you're about to do. And the biggest thing for that is your routine. And I might be a slightly slower player than others. I've been told that. And I just accept that as it is. And I try to work on my pace a little bit. But the biggest thing, kind of like Brian Harmon, for example, when he won the Open, and he took a while and it was tough for everybody to watch, and understandably so. But the biggest thing that he said that I think a lot of people missed was he's not ever going to hit a golf shot he's not committed to. And I do that as well. I'm going to go through my entire routine. And I think the most underrated aspect about my routine is every single shot I hit, whether it's a drive, an iron shot, chip, or a putt, I have an audible cue that will verbally manifest what I'm about to do. It's so easy to get caught up with the mental demons of like a bunker or water or OB or trees or whatever. And I think what I can do when I speak it out loud, it will overrule those mental demons, and it will give me a little bit more success in the shot I'm trying to produce. So every time I get over a tee ball, I tell myself in the third person, all right, man, right at the center, you got it. Hit that same fade you've been hitting. Or if I'm standing over a putt, I've been doing this for putting a little bit more recently, and I think this has been helping my putting a lot, because putting has been a weakness in my game the last year, and now it's been a strength. Every time I get up to a putt, I think the biggest thing about putting is trying to get out of being so result oriented, trying to make the putt. And now I just focus on committing to my line, because I used to doubt my line a lot. Because why line up a putt if you're not going to trust your line? So now I trust my lines. And then the biggest thing that I can control is my speed control. And I tell myself before I hit the putt, all right, man, good speed, see it fall in the cup. That's it. And I think that's such a big part of my success that I feel like a lot of people could benefit from. Because if you're able to speak it aloud and produce your results verbally, then you're gonna produce your results physically.
Yeah, and you're definitely tapping into the another part of the nervous system that is obviously working for you rather than against you. So another valuable nugget there. What's something that very few people know about Carson?
Probably a small thing that people don't know is that one of my hobbies is I'm very interested in digital graphic design. I'm professionally certified in a couple of online softwares like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and most notably Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator. And anytime you see a sort of graphic that's like, a college athlete committed to a college or anything like that, or a college infographic like game day and stuff like that, I do stuff just like that. I have a personal side gig that I'll produce graphics for college athletes, and I actually work as a student employee with the school to work with a bunch of the athletic programs to produce game day graphics or player of the week graphics. And that's something I'm extremely passionate about. And I think a lot of people see the social media side of things, of me posting about myself, But I just love being super creative behind the screen for athletics in general as well.
I love it, man. So if anyone needs some work, there we go. Carson's your guy.
Yeah, send me a DM. I happily will make you something.
Awesome. Carson, simple wins is more than just the scoreboard. What does simple wins mean to you?
I think a big part of the idea of winning is the fact that it's not just going to be finishing first place in every single tournament or game or whatever you might play. I think simple wins, as the way you phrase it, is something along the lines of getting something out of each and every event you play in. I think I've learned that you don't have to finish first every week, but you can finish, even 10th place or whatever it might be to make something good out of it. And as long as you get 1% better each and every day when you're in practice and feel like you can walk off of the golf course or walk off the field and know that you put your best effort in and you learned something that day and you feel like that you have become a better player overall is probably the biggest thing, because you can't be defined by winning every week, especially in a sport like golf. That's so hard to beat 100 players every single week. And you just have to do what's best for you to keep getting better over a long period of time. Because if you live and die by every single event trying to win, you're just never going to succeed, and you're going to throw yourself in a deep hole where you're going to eat at yourself for finishing runner up every week. And I think I could speak on that a lot because, like I said, before I won in Arizona last month, I had 5 runner-ups in the last year. And sure, that was something that was eating at me a little bit and a chip on my shoulder I wanted to get rid of. But it was also a big motivation for me to keep going and saying that I'm so close, I'm so close, I'm keep playing good golf. And I think the biggest part of that too was I was getting second place without my best game too. And it was just exciting for the idea that if I play my best golf, then I can go out and win and probably win like record fashion as I did. So simple wins is this idea that you can go into each and every event and feel like you get something out of it, no matter what the result is. If you can keep getting better, that's the best thing for you.
I love it, man. Carson, you're extremely knowledgeable. You've got a ton of value that you provide online. Where can people find you?
My Instagram handle is Carson Baez 2005, and I'll also shout out my dad's user account, the Baez Boys. That's for me and my brother. Everything gets reposted there. And then my TikTok is Carson Baez Golf. If anyone's interested, give me a follow. And if you want to send a message, I'm happy to answer and give you advice.
Carson, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I have one final question for you. Who else would benefit from listening to this conversation? If you have someone in mind, go ahead and share the episode with them right now. If you don't think of anyone immediately, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever platform you're on so people just like you can find the episode. Thank you for your time. Stay strong.